Hello and welcome to a Week 8 edition of Establish the Pools. My name is Adam Levitan. Each and every week on this show, I'm joined by Peter Jennings and typically Mark Dankenbring, but Mark is on vacation this week, so it is me and Peter to talk confidence pools, Survivor, Pick 'em, etc. Peter, how's it going?
Doing well, Adam. I'm excited to chat through this. It's getting later and later into the season. Disappointed. I reminded you late last night in Telegram to make your pick 'em picks. I thought I was being sharp betting the Bucks with that line move. Didn't work out.
No, and I actually was too lazy to go to my computer and put it in, so I did not end up taking the Bucks. Shout out to me. Okay. We will talk through everything pools related on today's show. We're going to talk about the confidence pool we're running with our friends that Run Your Pool. By the way, this is the last week of that. Survivor, which I am on massive tilt. Normally, Peter's the one on massive tilt. I am on massive tilt about Survivor. And also Underdog Fantasy Pick'em stuff we will talk about at the end. Before we get into it, I want to remind everyone this show is brought to you by our friends at Underdog Fantasy. As I mentioned, we are going to talk through some Pick'em on the show at the end this week. It's a prop style fantasy game from our friends at Underdog. Stay tuned for that at the end. You will have a chance to win some money as well. All right. Confidence pool ended up with 2,352 entries in the confidence pool. Format here is you pick 6 games each week against the spread, rank them from 1 to 6. You get 6 points if your team covers, et cetera, et cetera. In week 7, 16 people went 6-0. 4 people went 0-6. Peter went 3-3. He's in 265th place. Mark went 4-2. He's in 72nd place. I also went 4-2. I am right behind Mark in 86th place. Peter, this is the last week of this. I think you need to change your strategy, and it's debatable. I'm pretty high up, but I kind of think I might need to change my strategy a little bit too to try to get into some stuff that nobody else is on. What do you think about this being the last week and going kind of against the grain here?
Yeah, you definitely need to go against the grain. I certainly didn't realize it was the last week of this pool. So I probably would have changed my strategy from last week as well. But yeah, definitely, if you're way up there, you can kind of just ride the chalk. And if you're trying to make a move up the leaderboard, I think you're going to have to get contrarian and off the grid.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know if I need to go contrarian or not. I'm in 86th. There are prizes for 86th, including Silva's lawn care service, which if you get, I think it's 3rd through 5th place, I believe, you get a free year. Actually, I think it's 3rd only gets a free year of lawn care, courtesy of us and Evan. Yeah, I want that lawn care. But anyways, this week, oh, by the way, I wanted to mention last week, I did go 4-2, but I lost my 6 and I lost my 5. I lost the 6 with the Bucks as a road division favorite against the Panthers, and I lost my 5 49ers home against Kansas City. So that was frustrating. I do have some IKBs here, though, Peter, if we do want to get contrarian, because as we go here, I'm on the unabated Pick'em tool, and basically what this is showing is our contest line versus what we think or what unabated thinks is the quote-unquote right line. Now, Broncos Jaguars going across 3 is worth 17%. That's a lot. I think I might avoid that one, not take that one at all. Obviously, if I had a lead, I would take Broncos here. The contrarian ones that I like are Falcons -4 against the Panthers. Panthers coming off the win. And you see here, the line actually moved a little bit in favor of the Panthers since pool. And so you're going to take a little bit negative of it, negative 2.4% here on the Falcons. But I don't think that's bad. And I just think that last week was a total fluke for the Panthers, and they're going to crash back to earth here against the Falcons team coming off a loss. So I do like the Falcons here. That would be my favorite contrarian one. Any other thoughts here on maybe some contrarian stuff or otherwise?
Yeah, I mean, this goes against kind of what I've been doing. It's certainly a lot harder to have something where you IKB it because it's obviously moved for a reason, and I think NFL markets are really efficient. But yeah, it's one of those spots where I'm gonna have to think about what I'll probably do is just go like take the Jaguars, for example, when you're behind and just ride that, like go full blown opposite side and trying to get a lot of leverage against everyone who's going to end up taking the Broncos, who's looking at the line move. So that's probably what I would do is just go down the list and just go with the opposite side. of kind of the top ones.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Other people might have a similar idea, so I need to think through like how I'm going to be contrarian. I wasn't prepared. I didn't realize this was the last week for that.
Yeah.
I am curious your perspective on kind of what to do in the middle of these DraftKings pools as well, where I was doing really well. Last night stinks. I put the Bucks on every pick, but I'm still thinking through kind of the GTO way to play that,
Yeah.
being kind of in the top 1 to 5 percentile with all my teams.
Yeah, I think that it's still early enough where you can continue with what you've been doing in terms of riding the best line moves. I mean, we're only in week 8. I mean, we're talking about the DraftKings one, I believe, is the full 18 weeks. I mean, we're not even halfway through. I mean, not even close to halfway through yet. So yeah, I think still continuing to play that the way it goes is the right way.
So the good advice is know the rules of your pool.
That
and
is
I do not know the rules.
always good advice. Let's go to the DraftKings one here real quick so we can catch some different line moves. Yeah, this
Freaking
Miami one, I
Bucks.
like that on DraftKings.
Oh yeah,
And
those
then-
Tampa Bay Bucks. I mean, just unbelievable.
Yep. Phil says, wouldn't mind when he giving quick thought. Yeah, I just gave my thought on that, but I do think that this is a good spot for the Falcons. Panthers overrated coming off a win. Falcons, people are leaving them, underrating them as after a loss in Cincinnati. I think it'll be okay for the Falcons. And honestly, Falcons winning the AFC South or the NFC South like would not shock me whatsoever. This Bucks team is man, oh man. All right.
And more injuries for them. Shaq Barrett out for the year with Achilles.
Yeah. Wheels are off. Wheels are completely
The
off.
divorce is fully in play.
Divorce narrative is completely off the rails.
The divorce is official. Did you bet the divorce? I had some friends bet the divorce.
I didn't know you could bet the divorce. Where could you bet the divorce?
Yeah, I didn't know you could bet the divorce either. I'm tilted. I surely would have fired on the divorce.
I didn't.
Our friend Joel Milton from some of our friends have actually I think made some money on that.
Oh no, I actually feel bad about that. That is amoral. I mean, I'll do a lot for money, but that is amoral betting on divorce. It's got to be. It's got to be.
It's not like you're betting on someone to get hurt, mentally hurt, I guess. Yeah, maybe it is wrong, but obviously, bring it back to football. I mean, Tampa Bay has been super disappointing. I've lost a lot on Tampa Bay this year. A lot of people are out on Survivor because of Tampa Bay, and still a lot of talent on that team, but just it's a lot of critical errors, key injuries, and just bad play.
Yeah. Oh, I wanted to bring up one more that I think is negative EV, but going contrarian, I think is sharp. I think Jets, even without Breece Hall, home against the Patriots as a dog here, I think is interesting, and market won't be on it because again, negative 6.1% in the DraftKings pool here. Line moved against the Jets. So if you need to make a move, I think Jets and Falcons would be my two favorites. And actually, are Bills on here? Bills line hasn't moved, so. But yeah, I still think Bills coming out of the bye are just going to absolutely thrash the Packers. All right. Let's go to, I don't even want to talk about it, man. I honestly don't get tilted that often. I am so tilted about what happened in Survivor because we were pretty deep heading into last week in the big Survivor on DraftKings. I mean, only 1,100 people out of 13,000 were remaining heading into last week. I thought that it would be pretty even between Patriots, Raiders, and Dolphins in terms of what people were picking. And I went Patriots. As soon as the percentages flipped over, I knew it was bad. I mean, I just knew it. Patriots were 37%, Raiders 20%, Dolphins 6%. I mean, I am just on massive tilt about this. I know you had 2 entries, Peter. What did you do last week in Survivor?
Yeah, I split it. I went 1 Dolphins, 1 Patriots, and if I would have known the cards, I probably would have done 1 Raiders, 1 Dolphins. And easy to say, just being results oriented, but that was gross. I mean, Patriots just played an egregious game.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's just egregious, and it just speaks to like Survivor. Like, obviously, with DFS, we have, I think, a sophisticated and accurate and a very good way of projecting ownership. And, we still, obviously, there's some error bars on some guys every week for sure. With Survivor, it's just really, really hard. I mean, we have these pick percentages from Run Your Pool, but it's early in the week, and you need it specific to your pool also because different people have used different teams, et cetera, et cetera. So I'll bring up the slate for this week because now, Peter, Peter, you have a 1 in 300 and something chance of winning $1 million. How does it feel?
Same as every other week when I enter the freaking $4,000 millionaire maker and dust it off. I mean, can't be Utica over here. So, you know, I think I might have like a 0.5% chance. I think a 1/4% is like it's a 0.3 some percent. If I'm average, I think I can play a little bit better than the field. So gonna try. It's an interesting week. I'm wondering. I'm trying to predict the percentages because I have the two best plays are probably the Cowboys and the Eagles, just from an equity perspective. But then the ownership, I'm curious how that's going to break down.
Yeah. So let me give you what we have so far. The pool, like I said on DraftKings, the pool is now down to 375 people out of that 13,000 who started. Peter does have one entry left. I have none. Mark has none. The early data on this week from Run Your Pool: Cowboys 27% home against the Bears, Eagles 19% home against the Steelers, Bills 7% home against the Packers, Titans 7% at the Texans, Dolphins 7% at Detroit, and Denver 6% neutral field against Jacksonville. Obviously, Dallas and the Eagles are going to be very, very, very popular. I think both will win. I think the question is, when do you start burning some of these really good teams? I think Dallas will probably be the most popular because people don't think they're as good as the Eagles. Any thoughts there on the Eagles and Cowboys stuff?
Yeah, I mean, that's my exact analysis. And the problem is there's not really another good place to go. Like I don't know where else to go. I mean, the Bills are a big favorite,
Yeah.
but you're playing against the Packers. I mean, I could see the Packers finally showing up, and you want to save the Bills. That's kind of my view on the Eagles. I mean, next week they have the Texans, so I would like to keep them, which just leaves the Cowboys. But I think a lot of people who are left are certainly thinking about this in a similar way.
Yeah.
So, I
Yeah,
mean,
I think Cowboys will be the most popular for sure.
yeah,
For sure.
yeah, that's the problem. And Philly, Houston, short week. I probably wouldn't burn them. I'd probably wait, but right now this is their biggest favorite game. So maybe going Philly is not that bad. Maybe that's what I should do.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that's terrible. Next week, like you said, they're on the road. I wouldn't feel overly comfortable with that against the Texans. One that I think is sneaky, and it would be total ballsy, but nobody's going to take the Falcons.
I know
They're a 4-point favorite, and I don't think anybody in the world is going to use them.
Would you consider that?
God, I don't think I could actually click it, but in theory, it might be right. Like,
Yeah. I mean, you're just giving up so much. I mean, I'm looking at the big free lines right now for money lines, and the Falcons are minus 184, Dallas is minus 381. I mean, that's a huge percentage difference. I mean,
yeah.
you're talking about high 70s versus like a 65 percentile outcome. So it's just, I don't know. I think Philly might be the more interesting way to go if you're still left. What about did you get any? Did you get any through on the next chance survivor?
No, I forgot to submit.
Jeez, Levitan.
I know.
It's just I'm the worst today, but we need to get your life together over there, buddy. You're doing
I
everything
know.
so well, but you gotta get this money on the ground.
I'm on it. I'm on it, but I, like the freaking fifth chance DraftKings survivor pool somehow slipped through the cracks. I mean, that wasn't
Out of all your responsibilities, that one slipped
yeah.
through the cracks.
It's so embarrassing. Like, oh well, I registered for the fifth chance DraftKings survivor pool, and here we go. No, if I was still in, my lean would be Dallas and hope everybody else gets FPS. I think, but yeah,
Your lean would be Dallas, huh?
I think so.
I think I'm trending towards taking the Eagles here.
Dallas does have a Week 14 home game against the Texans.
Right now, see the Eagles are a great team, but the Eagles don't have a great, their next best games are this is the game where they're the most favored the rest of the way through.
Right.
Because they're at Houston, they have Washington at home. That's a division game. I'm surprised that Chicago -7, New Orleans in week 17, and the Giants week 18. Like maybe that's the way. Because do you want to save Buffalo 100%? I mean, Buffalo has Cleveland at home, at Detroit, the Jets at home, at Chicago. I mean, Buffalo is a huge favorite basically every game. I don't think I'll ever take Atlanta, but that if there's a time to take him, it would be now. Man, it's tough to tough to click Atlanta.
Really tough. Really tough. That would be a ballsy
I can't
move.
imagine clicking Minnesota either.
No.
Seattle, like none of these teams are in play.
No. I mean, people are gonna. I think the people in the run your pool thing are clicking Miami, Tennessee, Denver, but I prefer Atlanta to those. So
Yeah. Well, if you okay, I'll ask you this: predict what do you think the breakdown is? I think there's 375 people left on DraftKings. What would you break down the percentages for the teams this week?
yeah, I think it'll be like 39 or 45 Dallas, 20 or so Philly, and then everybody else like dust, like 10 Buffalo, and everybody else like nothing.
So based on those percentages, why is Dallas a better pick than the Eagles?
I know, just because I'm scared. I just have no heart.
You're scared
Yeah.
of the Eagles?
No, I think the Eagles are good. The Eagles are good. Yeah.
I mean, the Eagles are off a bye, which like in theory is good, but like, if there's a spot where they'd get rusty, maybe that's it.
Well,
Pittsburgh has some weapons, but I don't know.
yeah. I think one way that maybe I'm wrong and Dallas's ownership percentage isn't as high is if people are like, oh my God, everybody got knocked out by the Bears last week. The Bears are plucky now. The Bears are good. The Bears are going to rise up here and make a move. So maybe I'm wrong there. Maybe it'll be closer between the Cowboys and the Eagles. Certainly possible. All right. Last thing we're going to do here today is the Underdog Pick Em segment. Underdog has these Pick Em games. Let me bring it up here. Basically, producer Adam is producing. Underdog has these pick 'em games. It's fantasy style, but you basically pick 2 to 5 or so over unders on players. You can get paid out if they hit, essentially. Subscribers to ETR, we do have a table up that compares our lines on Saturdays to the Underdog pick 'em lines. We are picking one leg of a 3-teamer, each of us this week. If it hits, the guys Underdog are going to go into the UD channel in our Discord. Hopefully you guys are in there. Randomly pick one person to win $100. If we lose, we'll roll it into next week. We did hit a $300 one not too long ago, but last week we airballed. And so $200, I believe, on the line this week. I will pick, and I will also pick, I'll go first, then I'll let Peter go, then I'll pick for Mark here. I am going to start with Romeo Doubs under 45.5 receiving yards. I think there's a legit chance Romeo Doubs gets benched in this game. And I understand that Alan Lazard is hurt and not going to play on Sunday night against the Bills, but Doubs was so bad. And even if he doesn't get benched, I could easily see Aaron Rodgers not wanting to throw this guy the ball. He's been really bad. I mean, we're talking about 6 yards per target, making tons of mistakes, tons of drops. 45.5 yards, I think, is a lot to ask out of Romeo Doubs here, who may be in a rotation with guys like Sammy Watkins and Amari Rodgers and Torrey, et cetera, et cetera. Peter, do you have one for your selection here on Underdog?
Yeah, I got one that I feel pretty good about, actually. It's under 110.5 rushing and receiving yards for Josh Jacobs.
Mm-hmm.
Market right now on the props page is all around 108.5. Caesars has 108.5 under minus 135. 888 minus 120. More juice on the under on 108.5. Which, so just based on the market, this is a good play. And then just intuitively, to me, I think it's a really good spot. I mean, I know New Orleans hasn't been as good as expectation, but their defense still has a lot of great players. And Josh Jacobs has run really hot so far. So, I think Josh Jacobs is still a fine DFS play. Obviously, he's been a great pickup if you've had him in best ball or any season-long team, but I'll bank on just a little regression. I know he's playing for a contract, but 110.5 yards is massive.
Yes, I think that is an interesting one for sure. I will go with another under on a veteran. It is Brandon Cooks under 61.5 receiving yards. I think we've seen noticeable problems with Brandon Cooks' profile this year, and Nico Collins is going to miss this game, which I do think helps Brandon Cooks. I'm just not sure he's capable of cooking. Sorry for the bad pun. Cooking anymore. And with Davis Mills and Pep Hamilton, I was just flat wrong. I mean, Davis Mills is bad, and Pep Hamilton hasn't bad. I think we'll see a lot of Dameon Pierce in this game. And so under 61.5 on Brandon Cooks on a mean median spot, I think is good as well. So there you have it. The winner, Romeo Doubs, under 45.5 receiving yards. Josh Jacobs under 110.5 rush plus rec. And Brandon Cooks under 61.5 2.5 receiving yards. Appreciate y'all being here. Hopefully you're still in Survivor, some form of Survivor. Hopefully you're still grinding to run your pool. Hopefully you're grinding it out. On Underdog, we're here to help where we can. See you all next week. Actually, I'll see you tonight for subscribers, myself, Silva, and Wiggins for Establish the Show. Be there. For Peter. For Mark, who's on vacation, I am Adam. Good luck, everybody.